Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and the Republicans might be getting ready to impeach someone, finally, in the Biden administration. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. So, one Republican representative is introducing articles of impeachment against Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. The reason being, Mr. Austin did not inform the President of the United States for days that he was in the hospital in intensive care and not able to do his job. He didn't inform the President. He didn't inform others at the Pentagon, though somebody was placed in to take his place. They weren't told why. The media wasn't informed, and the American people weren't informed. This was a massive cover-up. This is a massive scandal. This is beyond the pale. These kind of things are not supposed to happen. Not in the United States. Not in the United States, where the people have a right to know. So I'm not going to keep you long because I want you to watch this report on it so you can better understand what's happening. Before I do that, I want to ask you again to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Again, those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. I'm Carmine Sabia for Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody. And now, let's hear this report about possible impeachment of Lloyd Austin.
Hey, Ainsley, Steve, and Brian, good morning. And Steve, as you point out, let's start with what we know. We know Austin is out of intensive care but remains hospitalized. But what's stunning, guys, about this story is we still don't know what elective surgery started all of this and put him in the ICU, leaving White House officials in the dark for 3 days. As we now know, U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria came under attack 8 times during that period of incapacitation. It brings the total number of attacks since October 17th, you can see here, to 128. Now, Pentagon officials say Austin's chief of staff was notified early on of the hospitalization, but she had the flu and did not pass along the message to the National Security Council. Yet, despite the lack of disclosure, NSC spokesman John Kirby says Austin isn't going anywhere.
I want to make sure I put a fork in my answer to you. There is no plans for anything other than for Secretary Austin to stay in the job and continuing the leadership that he's been demonstrating.
However, pressure is building on Capitol Hill. Republican Senator Josh Hawley says he wants answers.
The idea that the defense secretary doesn't tell anybody he's apparently very ill or was. I mean, I think, we need to know, what is this situation? What was the procedure? What's his medical condition now? This is serious stuff.
Congressman Matt Rosendale says this was far more than just a communication blunder, telling Fox News Digital this, quote, Secretary Austin has violated his oath of office time and time again and has jeopardized the lives of the American people, which is why I urge my colleagues to join me in impeaching him to protect the American people. And we are learning, guys, that Rosendale is expected to file articles of impeachment as soon as today. Brian, Ainsley, and Steve?
Right, and the thing that I think is most egregious, you could have a secret surgery, but you got to tell your chief of staff, you got to tell your deputy, you got to tell the president. I mean, my goodness, forget about individuals and parties. What about our national security?
Well, and there's actually U.S. Code 3349, which requires the heads of government agencies like the Department of Defense to notify the government comptroller of an immediate vacancy, which is what this was when he went into ICU, and to notify, as you point out, who was in charge. That would have been the Deputy Secretary, Karen Hicks.
That's right. And the questions now are, was he ever incapacitated? Was he ever out? When the president has gone in for, various presidents have gone in for like colonoscopies or something like that, where they're knocked out for 45 minutes, they transfer power symbolically to the vice president and stuff like that. None of that happened because he didn't tell anybody. But Griff, so what we know for sure is on January 1st, he arrived at Walter Reed in an ambulance, wound up in the ICU. We don't know what the elective procedure was on December 22nd. Do we know where it was done? It wasn't done at Walter Reed, supposedly. Do we know where it was? Because we don't know what they did, but who did it?
No, we don't. And that's what's so stunning,
Yes.
Steve, about this is the lack of transparency. We have learned from NSC spokesman John Kirby and apparently from the spokesman at the Pentagon, Pat Ryder, that, well, listen, the secretary's not going anywhere. This was just a communication blunder, but there is a need to know. And they still are not telling us exactly what it was that started all this, that led to him being sent to the intensive care unit. And so perhaps we'll find out in a Pentagon briefing later today, but this is like pulling teeth on a pretty simple question.
Hey, Griff, I know I heard a story yesterday that one of the former head of CENTCOM, when they lost communication on a plane, was so concerned he landed the plane because he knew he always had to be in communication should a nuclear attack take place or any type of would-be instant decision happen. That's how concerned they are about losing communication, even in flight. That's how bizarre this is. He is not a civilian running the Pentagon. He's a military guy running the Pentagon and a general. Don't they learn more responsible behavior in basic training?
Listen, over the weekend, I interviewed General Keith Kellogg, who is a Fox News contributor here, and he said this is an extremely serious situation for the very reason you're noting, which is it could come to a matter of minutes if Tehran should strike Tel Aviv and we're thrust into something quite more significant than the Houthi attacks that we're seeing right now. And so that is why, as Kellogg puts it, this was a matter of trust and confidence, and we still don't know all of the answers.
It's not like locking your keys in the car. Right? There's no AAA.
National security, that Monday night, nobody knew. Right. So
we still don't know.
It was disclosed on Tuesday, but he was in ICU. So if something had happened on that Monday night, like you're describing, we could have been in big trouble.
And Griff, we only paid you for 6 minutes. We took 7.5 minutes of your time, so we apologize. We'll put it on the bank, okay?
Sounds good. Happy Tuesday.